Okay, so I don't really know how to start this video, so let me just start it by answering one question you might have if you've seen the title and the thumbnail and clicked on it without knowing who I am. No, this is not one of those clickbait videos where I say in the thumbnail, do you also feel like this? But then I don't actually feel like the sentence that I stated, and I just want to give you some solutions. No, this is more of a video where I do genuinely feel like I'm wasting my life, and I just want to put it out there for anyone who might feel like they relate. And yeah, in the end, I will tell you some things that I'm going to attempt to do to maybe fix this problem for myself. But I don't have all the solutions. If I did, I would have been in a much different place than I am right now. So with all that being said, let me give you some backstory of how I got to this point, basically. So let me just stand up for a while. Okay, so to understand why I feel like I'm wasting my life, I think it is important to go back to my childhood. For a while, I won't bore you with my entire life story or anything, but basically when I was a kid, I was really talented. And everybody kept telling me this guy is destined for greatness, this child is so smart, this kid is going to be somebody in the future. And my parents took it to heart very much. They expected a lot of me. In the country where I grew up, the lowest grade in school is a 1 and the highest is a 6, right? And when I would bring home 5s, they would be like, why is it not a 6? You should have been done better. And basically they've been really demanding, right? And I did actually show promise, and I did put in a lot of work. I tried really, really hard. Actually, when I was 15, I had a very successful blog. I was writing it back then, and I would get a couple of hundred, and then 1,000, and then much more than 1,000 viewers every month, right? And I was so proud of myself, and I started working really hard on my blog, right? And I was still 15, 16 at the time. So I basically had this spell that lasted a couple of months where I decided I'm going to write every single day to, perfect my writing skills, right? And I would genuinely spend my day would look like this. I wake up 7 a.m., go to school, spend time there until 3 p.m, come back home, do some chores around the house, and around 7 p.m. I would sit down to my computer and I would just try to find an idea for the next blog post that I'm going to write, and I would continue writing it. I would usually finish around 1 or 2 a.m. I would just go instantly to sleep. And after I woke up, I would go to school and do it all over again. So there was no room for fun in my life anymore. I was just working basically my entire day. And even when I slept, I was dreaming about, things I could write. It got to that point. My thought process at the time was okay, I'm going to put in a lot of work now, but I know that I'm good at it. So eventually I will figure out how to make money out of it, and I will never have to work a single day in my life. So I'm going to put in the work into something I enjoy, so I don't have to ever work for somebody, right? Which to me at the time, I was so ambitious as a 16-year-old. So I was glad to put in the hours and the effort, and I did. But the thing is, I never figured out how to make money out of it, right? And the quote unquote best years of a person's life, when I was 15, 16, 17, every single one of my friends was just goofing off, having fun, going to parties, meeting people, or they were even playing video games. And I was just sat at home, just writing and working, and there was no fun in my life. I mean, I did enjoy writing, right? But I didn't like ever allow myself to relax. So when that failed and I didn't actually end up making any money out of my blog, I was devastated and burnt out, right? But I still had this idea in my mind that I never want to work for somebody else and just be one of those like cynical, sad adults who they know they are wasting their life and they know they could be doing something better, and they sometimes dream about doing something better, but they still have to go to work 9 to 5 every single day and just, basically waste their lives to survive. And I never wanted to be that, right? So I kept putting in the work and I kept starting new projects. I had, I started YouTube channels, then I had other business ideas, but eventually all of them ended up the same way. I put in a ton of work, I put in a lot of effort, but I could never figure out how to actually make money. So I went back to square one, right? And then fast forward to when I was like 21, I went to university and I was still trying to, I was studying coaching at university and I was trying to start my own coaching business. And once again, I was a really fantastic coach. I did a few like free coaching sessions for people and they were like blown away by how much I could like impact their life with just like 1 hour of my time, right? And I was like really proud of the ability I had to like impact people's life like this, but I still couldn't figure out how to transform it into an actual business. So I ended up, when Corona hit, I think that was like when my life just fell down the stairs basically, because back then I was living in another city and my parents were paying for my apartment as long as I was in university. But when we transitioned to online classes, my parents were like, we're not paying for your apartment no more, get your ass back home. So I did. And it was then that I realized like how fucking toxic my parents are. They are ill, let's just say. So that was a fun experience, right? I felt like such a giant failure. So I was like, okay, I cannot stay here. Like business ideas, I can think about that later, but I'm going to get a job right now and get out of here. So I did. I got a job as a salesman in an electronics shop. So this is still something that I'm interested. I always like tech. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll be selling like phones and TVs and shit. And yeah, that's fine. So I went to this job, right? And I was actually having fun. I was doing really great. I had like top scores, and like the second month that I was there, I already had like the best score in the entire shop out of all the salesmen. And so I was like, I was doing great. And after a few months of working there, I was like, okay, fine. I'm making enough money. Let me just call up my friend who was also looking to move out and find an apartment together and just go and, forge our own destiny as it may, right? So we did. We got an amazing apartment in the center of the city right next to the one that I grew up in. And we were like overjoyed. I was like just extremely happy to like be finally free and independent. But the thing is, I only stayed there for a year, and right as my apartment lease was coming up, not only did the war in Ukraine start and all the refugees coming here dramatically raised the prices of housing, so the price of my apartment went up like 40% for the rent. And I also lost my job at the same time. So I was kind of forced to move back in with my parents again, and that fucking sucked. So I was like down in the dumpster, and I didn't have the confidence. After I got fired from the job that I was performing really good at, I actually got fired because I got COVID in December. And the company required like 100% attendance from every employee in December. And I didn't have 100% attendance because I got COVID and I literally was quarantined and couldn't leave my house, but that apparently breaks company policy. So they fired me for that. And that was devastating to me. And I lost so much confidence that I like, even if I'm doing as well as I'm doing, I'm not like irreplaceable. So I did like the worst possible thing I could have done, and I got an office job to build back confidence, right? To just do something easy, and and get myself on track again, and just move out of my parents' house, right? Yeah, this ended up being dog shit because I was making like no money at all. I was making like minimum wage there, and the work was like so monotone and tedious, and like it was easy, yes, but it was hard to keep doing it every single day. I felt like my goddamn mind is going to explode, and like the bosses saw that I'm doing a good job, so instead of like promoting me or giving me a higher wage or something, as I hoped they would, right? No, they instead just gave me more work. So I ended up doing like more work than like 4 other people in my department combined, half a year into the job, right? And I was burning out really hard because I was still making peanuts. The money that I was making was not enough to even get like a single room in a shared apartment. It was that bad. So I was like, do you know what? Fuck this shit. I don't want to do this anymore. And in December of last year, I quit that job, right? Which basically brings me to where I am now. Because since then, and it's been over 9 months, I have not worked a single day. And I've just been wasting my life. So let me just sit down for this maybe. So ever since I quit that job, my entire daily routine has basically consisted of getting up like 11, 12 a.m. and then just watching a ton of YouTube videos the entire day, and like maybe going out to cycle a bit or maybe playing a game here or there, but that's basically it. And of course, I've been trying to do work in that time, or like, not work, but just be productive, I guess. I tried to make YouTube videos, for example, right? And I just found it so extremely hard. Because when I quit that job, my entire plan was like, okay, I'm gonna take 2 or 3 months. I've got enough money saved up to where I can like living with my parents, just, chill for that time. And I'm gonna relax a bit, take a vacation basically for the first time in my entire life, for the first time in 10 years, really, since I was 15. And that was my plan, right? But 2 weeks into that vacation, my dad was like, hey, do you know what? I know, like, I see that you are unhappy at this job. So, do you know, I have a plan for you. Like, you could just learn like IT and learn how to program, and maybe you will be happier in that, and you will make a lot of money, so you will be able to move out and do what you want. And I was like, oh, thank you, Dad, but like, I just don't have the money to be doing that, right? And he was like, no, don't worry, I will support you, I will give you the money. And I was like, okay, that's awfully generous, thank you. And my dad was like, oh yeah, so can you learn programming in like 3 months? And I was like, there's no fucking way I can do that in 3 months, right? And he was like, oh, you can, I trust you, you're very smart, you can do it in 3 months, you're brilliant, just you need to work harder, to the person who was already burned the fuck out after I've already spent 10 years of my life working non-fucking stop and achieving bloody nothing out of it. Yeah, the solution was to just work harder. And not having the self-awareness about that, I agreed, and I did start like learning how to code, right? And at the start it was going well. I would dedicate like 2-3 hours a day to it, and then the rest I would try to chill, right? But then March came, and my dad was like getting impatient. My dad was like, it's been almost 3 months, why are you not coding yet? And I was like, I told you I can't do that in 3 months. And he's like, okay, but you're going to need to start supporting yourself. You need to start selling some of the useless stuff you had. Because to be fair, I did have like a ton of headphones. I was really into like the audiophile hobby before. So I was like, okay, fine. I can just sell some of my unnecessary headphones, sell my TV that I'm barely using and stuff like that to just have the money to like, support myself while living with them. And and then that was going, and I started losing the motivation to actually further learn coding, right? Instead of doing it every day, I would do it like, like maybe 5 days out of a week, and then maybe 5 days out of every 2 weeks. And I started just like, just not having the energy to do it anymore. And then the breaks between when I would actually do any coding lessons would get longer and longer. Sometimes I would just go a couple of weeks without even doing a single lesson, right? And then like June, July came, and my dad was like, okay, it's been half a year. You should know how to be coding by now. And I'm like, no, I don't. And I told you it's not going to take this short of a time. And he was like, okay, so basically you have time until the end of August to learn how to code, and then you have to get a job. And I was like, fuck me, man. So ever since then, basically my entire July and August, since I basically realized like there is no fucking way I'm going to be like good enough at programming to get a job in 2 months time. So I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm out. I was like, bro, like my entire life, I've been working every single bloody day, and I got no results out of it. I got nothing, legitimately nothing out of it. So I might as well just do nothing and get the same result, right? So ever since then, I've been just laying in my bed all day, or sitting in front of my computer and just basically watching YouTube videos all day about gaming, because I was like, I don't even have the energy to play games myself anymore. I just watch YouTube videos about other people playing games and reviewing them. So that's fun. And yeah, and that's been my life for the past 3 months. I just wake up, go downstairs, clean up the mess that my parents left for after their breakfast, because they just expect me to clean it all up. Then I make myself some breakfast. Then I watch YouTube videos the entire day. Then they come back home. Then they yell at me for something. And then I don't know, like I go cycling or on a walk to escape them, but I still keep listening to like YouTube videos or podcasts, because I don't want to be left alone with my thoughts, because my thoughts keep telling me I'm a piece of shit. And that's been my life for the past few months. So yeah, not really fun. So yeah, I know I sometimes lose people when I talk about the whole I was like gifted part, and I was like really good at this, and everybody kept telling me I'm going to be successful, and then when I started a job I would just like have really great results and stuff like that. I know that like this part sometimes loses people, right? But I think the part about like working a lot to get nothing out of it, I think that part is pretty relatable to a lot of people. I mean, I hope not, but in my experience it is, right? And so is the burnout. So is the part where you just are stuck to your room and you don't even want to go and meet your friends because you're too ashamed of how fucking useless you are and how little you're doing with your life. And I hate it, but that's how I am. Like, I genuinely like resist meeting my friends because I am ashamed of meeting them and them seeing the person I am nowadays, the person who just keeps wasting their life and doing absolutely nothing useful with their time. Because let's face it, nobody benefits if I watch like 30 game reviews a day on YouTube. So yeah, that sucks quite a lot. And I do want to change that, right? Because especially since I will pretty much be forced to get a job, right? Because I have legitimately less than $1 left in my bank account, and I have a loan that I have to repay every month. And yeah, my parents are not willing to give me any money again, so I pretty much have to get a job, right? But I've been procrastinating so hard on it. I was, like, I know I have to do that. And I know that I will feel better if I do, because I will have some money of my own. I will have some more independence. But even knowing all that, I just don't. I can't force myself to look for a job again, which is makes me feel even more useless. But yeah, so I am trying to do some small changes at first and see where it leads me. So to just at least do something with my days, right? And I don't get me wrong, I had attempts in the past few months to do productive stuff, but I could never keep it up, right? But I have been actually working out at least 10 minutes every morning for the past 3 weeks, which I consider a great achievement, because there is still this like hopelessness in my head, right? Where I'm like, this is pointless. I will stop working out and become fat again. Why even bother doing it? But I do, so that's huge for me. And yeah, I think like when it comes to the reasons why I feel that way and why I keep wasting all this time is because as I said earlier, right? I just realized that I've worked so hard my entire life and got nothing out of it. So I'm like, fuck it, if I'm getting nothing, I might as well do nothing, right? So that's probably part of it. But the second part, why I keep just watching YouTube videos instead of like doing something actually enjoyable, like hanging out with my friends or I don't know, playing those games myself, is it's probably because honestly, I don't know, but my speculation is because I don't want to validate my parents' idea that I'm just being lazy. So I'm denying myself all of the fun stuff that I could be doing instead, just so they don't have the argument that like, you're not getting a job only because you're lazy, not because you're depressed, right? Because they actually keep saying that to me. So yeah, that's probably it. But still, I have to, and I do want to change something, right? So I basically devised a plan of like a couple of small things I could be doing basically each morning, because if I do it in the morning, it's like the most likely that I'll actually accomplish it. It's 5 things. Every day I plan to exercise for 10 minutes, which I've already been doing for 3 weeks, and it does at least give me the like satisfaction when I look at my body and see that I'm becoming more like man-shaped and less like blob-shaped. The next thing I want to do each morning is meditate for at least 5 minutes, and this seems like too little for me, because there have been times in my life where I would just meditate for like 20 minutes each morning, right? And it would genuinely have a very positive impact on my life back then. But right now I just know that I can't force myself to do it for 20 minutes, so I want to do at least 5 each morning and see how that turns up. Maybe my head will be at least a little bit clearer thanks to that. The third thing, and that's probably the hardest, that I want to do is spend at least 60 minutes each morning doing something productive. It doesn't have to be something, something big. It doesn't have, it can be recording a YouTube video as I'm doing right now, or it can be, searching for a job, or it can be, I don't know, just doing whatever as long as it's like in the camp of being productive, right? So it's like, I know 60 minutes is not a lot, but it's like more than 0, which is what I've been doing most days. And then the two last habits that I want to continue in the coming months, in the coming weeks, is, first of all, I want to sit down and actually play a game I enjoy each evening for at least an hour. Like every day at 9 p.m. I just drop whatever I'm doing and sit down and play a game. Now this might seem counterproductive if I'm wasting my life, but I want to do something that I actually enjoy each day, so I have like some sort of like enjoyment in my life, because like most days I just don't do anything that I actually like find fun. So I want to have like something positive to be going on in my life, something I can look forward to, because right now I have the thought of like, why even wake up if I'm not going to do anything fun that day? So that's the second to last thing. And the last thing, speaking of waking up, I want to set an alarm each morning for 7:30 a.m., which is way earlier than I would normally get up. And I want to, like start fixing my sleep schedule. Part of it is because of the League of Legends World Championship that is going on right now. And since it's in Korea, the matches start around like 7, 8 a.m. My time anyway. So, at least I can wake up and immediately catch the games. But part of it is genuinely because I want to fix my sleep schedule. And I tried doing it last week and I ended up being so exhausted because I couldn't force myself to go to sleep at the proper time. But hopefully this time it goes better. And for each of those habits, basically I have a single rule. I cannot miss more than 2 days in a row, because I know like sometimes there will be days where I just for whatever reason can't do whatever thing it is. But to help myself get back on track instead of kicking myself for missing a day, the rule is that I cannot miss 2 days in a row or the challenge is failed, and I cannot do that thing again until the end of the month. And that's one thing. And the second thing is I can't miss more than 3 days in a week, right? I mean, that would pretty much require me to miss 2 in a row anyway, but still an additional rule. So yeah, I will try to do all of those things, and I have this card that I made for myself, and I will put it on my wall and mark it every single day if I did the thing or if I didn't do the thing. And to help me with that, I will also be tracking in my notebook my energy, mood, and focus levels, and I will be rating them from like 1 to 10. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I expect it to be mostly 1s and 2s per category, but hey, let's see. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing with my life in the next few weeks. And hopefully this works, because if it doesn't, I don't have many more ideas. But yeah, hopefully this video has been relatable, and if you're in a slump like I am, hopefully the technique that I showed you at the end will bring some solace to you. So, yeah. I will try to make some more videos before I finish this challenge, which, by the way, I will try to do it for 30 days, and today is October 18th, right? So I will try to do it until at least November 17th. And I will make a video when I finish the challenge, right? Showing if anything changed for the better, basically. And yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for sticking around to see my misery, and good luck.